Welcome to the WDW Fan Zone show. I am Stuart Sternberg, joined by Darlene Nagy, Jess, and Kurt. And Kurt is here because we're doing a special edition of our current news and events edition. This is the D23 recap, or should I say recrap. First I want to say we're all Disney fans here. We all love Disney World and Disney in general. God, where do I begin? There were a lot of things that happened over the weekend and a lot of things that did not happen. I think, and this is my personal opinion, I will let everybody share their own views and say what they wish as we go through things. But I came away from not being out there in California to spend thousands of dollars, as a lot of hardcore Disney fans did this past weekend. Watching streaming on TV, listening to people broadcast about what was going on. I came away with not much. And, we know Disney is running Disney World as a business now. And the reason I'm saying Disney World, they're running the whole company as a business now. And they should be it is a for-profit business. However, every year for the last 2 or 3 years, they seem to be, and once again, this is my opinion, taking for granted their fan base, while other theme parks, in particular Universal, who's coming out with Epic Universe, are doing something that might put them over the edge above and beyond what Disney is doing. And I think this year's D23 firmly put Disney behind an 8-ball at the moment. Now, we know Disney can pivot and recover and go full speed ahead and, as they say, take no prisoners on their way to the top. But to me, this D23 Expo just showed a bit of a decline in what's going on at the parks. Not the whole company, just the parks, particularly those here in the U.S. Let me just go through, and I'm not going to go through every single thing that I have on here word for word, but what Disney did was, with the parks announcements, boy, did they tease us about their Blue Sky projects. Now, Blue Sky projects are developmental projects that are in the very early stages, which many may never likely get off the ground. So they discussed, this was their major announcements for Disney World. Behind Big Thunder Mountain, what it might look like at Disney World's Magic Kingdom if there was a themed Coco or Encanto, or perhaps both lands back there. What if? Don't they have a show, What If? That What If show on Disney Plus is more realistic than what they mentioned here.
Can we get back the railroad for 15 minutes before they do that?
Why can't, one of my neighbors mentioned this, and I agree with him. Why can't they open up the railroad, have it go to two-thirds of the park, maybe stop at Frontierland, and then turn around and go back?
That's what they used to do. They used to get as far as the back of the park and then turn around and come back and do it backwards. Yep. They used to do it when they were doing construction.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, now more of the Blue Sky projections or projects that were mentioned was possibly bringing a Disney Villains land to the Magic Kingdom. Where? I don't know. How? I don't know. Will it ever happen? Probably not. But that was like their big thing to get the crowd going. What if? Hey, maybe not. We don't know. Also mentioned was possibly transforming Dino Land and Animal Kingdom into a multiple districted themed area of Zootopia or Moana, or maybe both.
Which is what I've said for years.
Yeah.
Now, I do have to say about that, the concept art for that seemed pretty detailed. I don't know if they would show something like that without actually having something in the works for that.
Which that is overseas.
Yes, they do have one overseas already. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So
right.
how similar were they? The concept art for the one
that I do not know.
Actual. So that's something maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Now we do know that they took down Primeval World, and that whole area is being taken apart bit by bit. So of all the Blue Sky projects that they mentioned, that one to me is, if any of them get off the ground, the most likely to happen, if any of them do happen.
Now that Moana ride, it looked like a a Splash Mountain type ride. That looked pretty detailed as well. And there's no other Moana ride.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think there is a Moana ride overseas. Darlene, do you know of any?
No.
Not that I know of, no.
Yeah, where they're going to put that, who knows? Maybe it'll go where that Kite Tails thing is currently now. There was
it looked like it was in conjunction with the Zootopia. Like it would be in the same area.
Yeah, does that mean they're going to take out the new Nemo show to make room for it? Does Dinosaur Go? We don't know.
Yeah, what does Finding Nemo have to do with dinosaurs?
It's in the same area though.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
I know. It's officially in Dinoland, but
I know it doesn't belong there.
I never really thought of that before.
Yeah,
I could see them retheming Dinosaur. I don't know how they're going to retheme it, but I could see them retheming Dinosaur.
They're going to retheme it. They're going to keep the car vehicles there, and they're going to take out all the dinosaurs, and they're going to put in Zootopia characters. That's how they're going to do it. If that's what they bring there, we don't know. They were so vague in what they said. It was like, yeah, we took your money, so we have to give you a little something to think about for about 2 seconds before you get angry. But by the time you get angry at us, we're gone.
Yeah, I still think that a Zootopia would be better back at like Rafiki's Planet Watch area. They have more area back there. They can use the train to get back there, retheme the train if they wanted to. That to me would be like off in a different area, not Dinoland.
Yeah, I agree.
But Dinoland is like a dying breed. There's not a lot going on there, so I really think they do need to put something there.
Becoming extinct.
Put the Moana attraction there.
Bring back Ellen's Energy Adventure there. I'm kidding.
Is there a napping zone?
Nah, you don't want to. But yeah, they do have to do something there. I don't think they're prepared to spend the money. I don't think they have the money to spend right now there. I think they're concentrating. They're doing what a lot of businesses are doing, and I hate to say this, but they're being penny wise and dollar foolish. They're looking at the quarter that's right in front of them and how much money they can make, and they're not worried about next year's first quarter, second quarter, third. They'll get there when they get there, and they'll worry about it then.
They'll raise the prices.
Terrible way to do business. It looks good on the books for who's ever in charge at the moment, but once those books are in the past, and you've got to worry, at some point it's going to catch up to them. But you know what? As long as us Disney fans keep paying the prices that they charge and keep going to the parks and not telling them we're not coming and actually not go if they do things we don't like, why should they care? We're going to go anyway. So you know what? We're getting what we deserve, which is nothing right now because we pay and we go no matter what. And they know that. We all love Disney. I'm not going to, I can't say that enough. All of us do. And we've poured our heart and soul into Disney, and Disney has poured their heart and soul to us, but not as much anymore.
One of the reasons we all moved down here, Jess, Stuart, me, was for Disney. Besides our friends and family that are down here, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He flat out said in an interview, as much as they love the super fan and catering to the super fan, they still have to take care of Bob in Colorado for his one-time trip. So that's like you're saying, true. Stuart, he's looking at, as long as we have people that have never been to Disney World and want to take that one-time trip, we'll be okay. The super fan, we'll see you when we see you.
And I know we're getting off. We're not getting off topic. We're getting off from the announcements. But one of the things that I think is going to happen, and God, I hope I'm wrong, when Epic Universe opens up, I think Disney's going to start feeling a little more. I think they're feeling it now.
That's Universal, right?
Universal, yeah.
Yeah, that's Universal.
The Magical Express was designed to get people off the plane and into Disney World and on their property, into their resorts, to spend every single dollar they had on that vacation at Walt Disney World. They took that away. Why did they take that away? Because it was an expense.
And the contract ended.
And the number of people that are coming down here and continue to come down here, why should they pay that expense for that service So if somebody stays for 3 days and goes to Universal for 3 days, who cares? There's somebody else to spend the other 3 days they would have spent here. If that stops at some point in the future, then they're going to have to revisit their thinking. And until that happens, they can do whatever they want.
How much of their spike in attendance is because it was the 50th anniversary?
I think that's
part of it. I want to know if we're going to see that decline.
I think that's part of it. I think COVID is part of it. People, didn't go anywhere for 2 years. Hey, we saved up $10,000. Let's blow it all on Disney. And you know what? We'll worry about our next vacation 2 years from now.
And the money, what was it? The stipend.
Yeah.
I can't even think of the name.
Yeah, the stipend.
Yeah, the stimulus.
Stimulus money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone's using their stimulus money. Not everyone, but a lot of people are using their stimulus money at Disney.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there were people that would never in their wildest dreams have gone to Walt Disney World had it not been for COVID, and saving up all their stimulus money from that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing, because once that's gone,
it's gone.
It's gone.
But how about the people that would go 2 or 3 times a year, or the people that would go once every other year or once every 3 years? Where are they in all this?
They're not.
They're not.
I mean, because I used to go
Yep.
every year, twice a year.
Yep.
And, now I'm an annual pass holder, and they're not thinking of the annual pass holder. They could care less about us, even though
you don't make enough money for them.
Yep.
Right. We give them $900 a year, and that's not good enough for them.
Well,
that's not enough.
No, it's not. The average annual pass holder will go to the parks for 2 hours and leave.
Mm-hmm.
No
money,
get a meal.
Not buying anything to eat, not buying anything in the park.
Oh, that's not true, because
that is not true.
This girl does go and spend money on food and snacks and stuff. So
we don't spend money every time we go to the parks, but there are a lot of times. I'd say the majority of the time I'll get either lunch or dinner if I'm there.
Yeah. Yep. So do I. And I normally get either a Dole Whip or a citrus roll, or Keith gets a what is that? Chocolate vanilla twist at the American Pavilion.
But
always.
The people who are coming for their vacation, they're going to spend $3,000.
That's my point. You guys aren't going through and buying stuff.
Right. And I was going to say that.
I see a lot of them coming in. A lot of people do come in from other states, and I see them when they're going through their bags at checkpoint. They're pulling out like tons of chips and pretzels and drinks. They're not spending the money.
I agree with you, Darlene, but there are a lot that do.
There are a lot that do, but there are a lot that don't.
But you know what? The money that we're spending in the parks, whether we get dinner or lunch there or a snack, they don't care, because you know what? If we spent $50 to $100 a person in the park on a day, that's nothing to them compared to the family of 4 that's coming from Wisconsin that's spending thousands and hundreds a day.
They got $100 just coming in the door from Joe Schmo from over in Wisconsin. Okay. They've got the $900 per day room. They got to feed that entire family multiple times during the day, on top of buying whatever they're buying. Okay. So all of that adds up to a hell of a lot more than the $50 meal.
Now, I do want to get back to the news at the announcement.
Go back.
But
go back.
No, hold on. Before we do, I want to ask a question to you guys. So we've established that Disney is treating it more like a business, and they don't really care about us. But can we blame them for what they're doing? When you see why they're doing it, we're not spending as much, Darlene, and Jess, because we're annual pass holders. We're going there for a couple. Well, Jess, you're a little further away, so when you go, you're there all day and you're staying on private. But Darlene and I will go for a couple hours, a few hours here max, and we're out of there. Somebody else is going to spend thousands, so we're not the priority. Should we be the priority?
They wanted the annual pass holders like us,
who
are coming from another state.
What I think Disney needs to get back to is make us feel like we're a priority without us being a priority.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not easy to do, but it can be done.
Yeah.
But their current strategy is nothing like we've ever expected to see here, but we all knew it was coming, and now here it is, and it's just like, oh God, they did it. They're treating it like a business, like a real business. We hate it.
It never felt like that before.
No, it never did.
That's the thing. It never felt like a business before.
Right.
Now all of a sudden it does.
Yep. And they can still do it. Just throw us a bone or two. Make us feel appreciated and wanted. And, make us feel like Walt would have made us feel, or Roy would have made us feel.
Come on, you're getting a Hatbox Ghost.
I know, right?
That's wonderful news.
We're giving you Happily Ever After back.
Happily Ever After comes back now. I get my song back.
Let me get back to the announcements, and then I'm going to run through them as quick as I can so we can discuss everything. And for those listening out there, I'm sorry if we're rushing through it, but we're not going to be on here. We're not pulling an all-nighter on this show.
No.
So we mentioned the fireworks. So after telling us how Harmonious was like this big change and it's coming and it's staying, now all of a sudden it was just part of the 50th anniversary special celebration, and it's going to be gone. Same thing with Enchantment in Magic Kingdom. So we're going to get a new fireworks show at Epcot, and I hope those eyesores are gone from the lake. And we're going to get a 100-year celebration fireworks show, which is going to have the Happily Ever After theme song or music included in the show. Whether we get Happily Ever After or this new show, whatever version of it is, remaining here after the 100th, and we don't know. I guess it'll depend on how it's received. Now, I didn't mind Harmonious. I didn't mind Enchantment. I thought they were decent. I didn't think they were as good as the previous shows, but I did like them. But apparently there were a lot of people out there who voiced their opinions to the contrary, where Disney actually did something about it. And that's something positive to say about the current people running Disney, or the Disney company now, because they spent millions of dollars on those projects. I think, what was it? Harmonious, they spent years working on that. And poof, it's going to be gone. So they do realize they make mistakes sometimes.
I think some of the technology that was put into Enchantment, whatever it's called, the newer fireworks show over Disney or the Magic Kingdom, I believe some of the technology is going to stay. The Happily Ever After is just too powerful of a show, or of a song especially. The whole everything about it, the story that's being told. Imagine that coming all the way down Main Street now.
Kurt,
how much more powerful than to make it.
You just hit on something. Happily Ever After told a story. What does Enchantment tell?
It doesn't.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful seeing the lights going all the way up and down Main Street, but it's like wrestling. For anybody out there who's a wrestling fan or who's a soap opera fan, it's all about the storytelling. Yeah, that's right. Wrestling is
the same thing.
It's a soap opera for men. Yeah, mostly men. There are a lot of women that like wrestling too. But it's acceptable for men, not as much as soap operas, although it's gotten a lot better over the years for it being acceptable for men to watch soap operas, although there are very few out there now. But anyway, my point was that it's all about the storytelling. If you don't tell a story, you want people. The word I'm looking for, they use this in wrestling a lot, is invested. If you're not invested in the story, you don't care about what's going on. And I think that's where both Harmonious and Enchantment lost people. I think with Harmonious, I think it was a little bit different. I think they tried to tell a story. I just don't think it worked, because if you weren't within certain sight lines of the projections, you missed a lot. So I think they've got to go back to the drawing board. They've got to find a way to get people invested in the story they're telling and tell a story that will keep people oohing and eyeing from the beginning to the end. I hope I explained.
Going out and humming a song like we used to do.
Yep. Something I want to mention here, because I don't know if anybody agrees with me with this. When I used to vacate, and it might be different if I were not living here, but when I did not live in Florida, going to the Magic Kingdom wasn't a chore. Now, because of the way things are lately, and it's mostly the crowd levels, that's the big one for me. Getting to the Magic Kingdom is a chore, because even though I don't have a long drive to get to the parks, I have to park my car, get over to either take the boat or get on the monorail to get to the park, and then first get through you go through security at the transportation center. Yeah. But then I have to go into the park, wait, it's
on a boat or a monorail. The
TTC, sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's a half hour to an hour, depending on the time of day that you go. And that's added on to the 20 minutes to a half hour that I've got to drive there. And you know what? There are times where I'll say, you know what? I'd like to go to the Magic Kingdom, but I'll go to Epcot instead. It's a lot easier to get in and out, or Disney's Hollywood Studios, or Animal Kingdom. And it's not as crowded.
And the trams, if you're parked to the front half, they're not even going to take you out.
Yep.
You got to walk if you're in the front half.
I actually like taking the boat more than the monorail.
No, I'm talking about the trams. It's in the parking lot itself.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yep.
So you're walking a mile before you even get out of the ticket and transportation center.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I get my steps in, though.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I walked 8 miles on Friday and Saturday.
Wow.
Going to Magic Kingdom both days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot. All right. Anyway, let me get back to that list. So we mentioned the fireworks. Okay. They also announced Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, will open in late 2023. Hallelujah. A Figment meet and greet will be coming to Epcot sometime in the future. Now, Kurt, you had mentioned something on the pre-show. I'd like you to bring up what you mentioned here.
I'm a little nervous. Yes, I love the fact that they're bringing up a Figment meet and greet. But does that mean Journey of Your Imagination is all of a sudden going to just kind of like fade away and disappear, and they're not going to replace it? That makes me nervous, because that's a long time attraction that just needs a little tender love and care. And there's
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, now, Kurt, you mentioned the Hatbox before. Now, they did mention that the Hatbox Ghost will appear in Disney World's Haunted Mansion sometime in 2023. They didn't say when, so we don't know.
Could be at the end, could be for October 1st.
Now, I know the Tron Light Cycle, they really wanted to open for the holiday season at, the Magic Kingdom here in Disney World. It's not happening.
January or February.
Yeah. Well, no, I heard
they said spring.
I heard late spring 2023.
Okay,
yeah.
that could be
So
April,
that-
May.
Probably Memorial
That usually
weekend.
means it's going to be Memorial Day weekend again. That's when they're going to dump it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And that was it for Disney World. That was the major announcements for Disney World. How pathetic is that?
Oh, wait. Also, the prices will go up again. Oh, that's an every year thing. Sorry.
Well, you know what? They have been holding the price of the tickets to, they haven't really increased them that much. They have but it's the food that's going up. It's everything else that's going up around it.
Mm-hmm.
But they have tried to hold the line with the tickets, which I give them credit for that.
February, it'll go up.
Probably. That's usually when it goes up.
That's when it goes up.
All right, let me go through the Disneyland announcements quickly. Disneyland, I think, is getting more than we're getting here, which is not saying a lot. There'll be new character meet and greets at Disneyland, The Mandalorian and Grogu. And I think The Mandalorian and Grogu were supposed to come here. They just didn't say when. But starting November, you'll be able to meet and greet The Mandalorian and Grogu out at Disney's California Adventure, and The Incredible Hulk. I mean, that looked like an amazing animatronic they showed will be at California Adventure, I think, next week, as a matter of fact.
Wait, was that an animatronic? It looked like there was actually someone walking around in it.
Oh, it could be. I don't know. I don't know. You could be right. I
don't want something that big getting tackled and falling over.
You know what I didn't like about the face of the Hulk? I wish it had eyes that could show expression. It didn't. But that said, I think it's an amazing thing that's coming. But that should be a minor thing coming to Disneyland, not one of the major things coming to Disneyland.
Right.
Let's see, what else was there? California-based Disneyland. Guess what they're getting? An attraction in its adventure campus based on the multiverse with riders battling villains from different universes, including King Thanos. What are we getting? Nada. Zero. No new attractions. Pacific Wharf in Disney California Adventure is going to be transformed into San Francisco from Big Hero 6. And guess we'll have an opportunity to meet Baymax. And this has been announced so many times. I don't know why they mentioned this again at D23 this year at the Expo. But the Paradise Pier Hotel is becoming the Pixar Place Hotel. Downtown Disney's getting new restaurants, Porto's Bakery and Cafe, and Din Tai Fung, another restaurant that's coming there. Disneyland's Two Town is going to get a version of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Let's see, what else are they getting there? And they're going to have a new play art for the kids. And Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which has replaced Splash Mountain out there and here. Out in Disneyland, it's expected to reopen in 2024. And they changed it. They from the scale models that the scale model did not have the same thing that the sketches had. There was something on top of the mountain. I forgot what it was, but
that stump.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone. They I bet it's scaled down to save a little money.
Why move it? It's going to cost money to move it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the Disneyland one.
That's the Disneyland one, yeah.
Does the Disneylands have it out there right now? I wonder.
No,
because you could tell it. You could tell it was the Disneyland version because it was a single rider, not a double rider going down.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. Yep. That they'll keep the stump and the Disney World one.
I hope so. We'll see. Let's see what else. Disney Cruise Line. Well, the new ship, the sixth ship, will be called the Disney Treasure. Disney is developing a new vacation island spot in the Bahamas called Lighthouse Point that will have 90% of its electricity provided by solar power. But, that's good for the environment, but, you have to go on a cruise to see that island. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. I really do. They also announced that they'll be traveling to Australia and New Zealand beginning October 2023. International resorts. Duffy and Friends characters from Shanghai Disney will be getting their own series on Disney+. Hong Kong Disneyland is getting a new Walt Disney statue of Walt watching his children on a merry-go-round inspired by the idea of the Disney theme parks. Hong Kong Disneyland's Frozen theme land will open in the second half of 2023. Tokyo Disney is adding a new land, Fantasy Springs, based on Frozen, Tangled, and Peter Pan. Beginning in 2024, Tokyo Disneyland Space Mountain will undergo a transformation and have a new plaza that will be completed by 2027. And finally, Paris Disneyland is adding a new promenade to attach its new Frozen-inspired land to the rest of the parks, and a Tangled-themed attraction will be coming to the new garden area. Darlene, do you have any news with Run Disney or anything else that I didn't mention? And Disney Plus.
Run Disney is actually coming back to Disneyland, which everybody is excited for in 2024. So a lot of people are already planning to take trips out there. I've been begged to go with them. I haven't decided if I will or if I won't, but that looks like a lot of fun. I might do a 5K. Disney Plus. Now, okay, so Disney Plus is bringing out a number of different movies and shows coming up. I know we've got Peter Pan and Wendy 2023. We have, I think, Mufasa prequel of The Lion King 2024. Mm-hmm. We have Percy Jackson's Disney Plus series is coming. There's going to be a Marvel's Halloween special, Werewolves to the MCU, Werewolf by Night. Also, there is a few Pixar things coming out this year that look fun. We have, I'm not sure.
They also show the trailer for The Mandalorian. That was another one.
The Mandalorian was a good one. I'm trying to remember. We got Hocus Pocus 2, September 29th. And we also have, I don't remember the Little Mermaid live action with Halle Bailey. I think that's coming to Disney Plus.
Yep. Yeah.
Theaters.
That's coming to
Oh, was that theaters?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's theaters.
So, yeah.
Okay. I knew Elemental was theaters, and I think ELO is theaters.
I don't know.
And they delayed Snow White to 2024.
Correct. They
Oh,
did.
they also mentioned Santa Claus too, which they've mentioned before.
Right. And Unhappily Ever After is going to Disney Plus.
Right. What about Disenchantment?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I know that. Well, this is what
I thought that was going to be streaming.
Okay, that might be streaming. So I was very, very shocked. Very, 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 very shocked. I am a McDreamy fan. I've watched Grey's Anatomy for years. And when I seen Patrick Dempsey with his beach blonde white hair, I almost had a heart attack. But I couldn't like figure out why he was there, why they were showing him, and now I know it why, because he is the husband from Enchantment, Amy Adams, to
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
And it totally threw me for a loop though, seeing him there,
Now with Disney Plus, I'm glad they're putting more money into Disney Plus. I think they need to.
Yes.
I still don't think it's enough. I think they have to put more content out there for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when that becomes your major announcements at a D23 Expo event,
mm-hmm.
there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Those aren't like D23 type things that we should be getting. That should be something for like Comic-Con or something like that.
Or Disney Plus Day.
Yeah.
Or that.
Yeah.
So that'll be November 2022 for Disenchanted. That is on Disney Plus.
Okay. And I know
Right.
High School Musical 3 is coming out. They're going to have an American-born Chinese series coming out in 2023. That's going to be an original. Oh goodness gracious, what was the other one? The Proud Family. I think that's coming back too.
Also, the one with John Stamos is coming back. The girls basketball show. That's a good show. Really good show.
Yeah. And they're going to have a holiday with the, I don't know if you guys are interested. I love the acapella stuff, and the pentatonics are going to be around the world for the holidays. So that's a good one. And the hip hop Nutcracker. I've seen the Nutcracker on stage at Shays in Buffalo, and it's been amazing.
So before we started the show, I told Darlene, I just generalize about Disney Plus. Don't give everything, and then we all start to throw things in there.
I know.
They're like, darling, what about this? So after I tell, just generalize. It's like, oh, boom.
Besides for the fact that, check really quickly, because right now they're doing a select D23 merchandise is available on Shop Disney. So if you want it before it's gone, I would go on now.
Now, I'm going to say something that's very un-Disney-like me to say, and something that excuse me, I think needs to be said. We're not going to stop going to the parks. Disney knows this. But you know how you can start making Disney feel the effects of what they're doing right now? When they do their next expo in, 2025? Or are they going to do it next year? It's every 2 years. It's supposed to be 2 years old. This was 3. So 24. I'm sorry, 24. Don't go. Do not go. No matter whether they try to give the tickets, don't go. Don't spend your money on a flight out there. Don't travel there. Don't go to a hotel. Don't go. What they gave us this year was a travesty. As much as we love Disney, we've got to do a little something to say to them, we're not happy. That, to me, in my opinion, is the way to go without affecting your park visits, your cruises, your adventures by Disney, without your Disney, affecting your Disney dining. Just show make a little bit of a statement next time. Don't go to the expo. This is what you're going to give us at the expo. Don't go. Now, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. That's, like I said, this is my opinion.
Are you going to start singing that song now? Please don't go.
No.
Okay.
Nobody wants to hear me sing. But everybody's heard how I feel about this expo. Why don't we go around the horn, and how do you guys feel about it?
I think that there's so many. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
There's so many things that they announced at the last one that they still haven't either finished or started. And I think that they're trying to play catch up with that. And they don't want to announce new things that are definitely happening because they don't even know if they can finish what they've already announced. That's my theory.
I think that's part of it, but I think it goes beyond that. I think they're trying to pinch pennies. Mary Poppins attraction that was announced last time is not coming. It doesn't mean it won't in the future, but right now it's
in Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
They were going to change that. They were going to close
that.
That
hasn't been fixed.
2.5 years ago.
Yep. And that's not happening. There's a lot of projects they've announced that they had to scale back, especially in Epcot. We're not getting, there was supposed to be a second level to one of the areas there. We're not getting that. It's just, they're trying to, I think the Fox deal, when they bought those Fox properties, it set them back. And I think, and that was before the pandemic hit. So I don't think they expected what was to come with the pandemic, shutting the parks down for quite some time. And that's a big moneymaker for them, the parks. They've got ESPN, which I've heard rumors for years that they've wanted to sell, but I haven't heard anything lately. I don't know what's going on with that. I also heard they might take it off of the cable networks and just have it as a standalone streaming service. Who knows what they're going to do there? And those are just rumors. I don't want to put any merit into any of that because nothing's happened there. Right now they're in the position they're in because they spent so much money on that Fox deal. Where's the money coming from? It's coming from the parks, but you can't put money back into the parks if you need to catch up with the rest of your businesses or subsidiaries or companies. That's just my take on it. But we'll see. I think you bring up a valid point, Jess. I think they're still trying to catch up. It never took Disney. Think about it. Toronto's going to be 5 years old, the project, by the time it gets finished. This is not a new attraction. This is an attraction they have overseas. And there were reasons why it's taking so long, and I'm not going to, criticize Disney for that, but it's taking 5 years.
I did hear there were actually people on there testing the other day, and I'm currently looking at but with people on there, not just crash test dummies, supposedly is what I heard. I'm looking at this D23 Shop Disney. I'm not impressed by what they're offering out here.
Yeah.
It's not what I want to see.
Yeah. A lot of people are going to buy it because it's D23, and a lot of people won't because it's just not their taste.
It's not selling me.
For a 2-minute roller coaster.
And I hate mentioning Universal in this episode so much, but Universal never slowed down in getting Epic Universe built. And, it's not done yet. It'll be finished when it's finished, but they're doing at Epic Universe what Disney would have done here a few years back. So, I know they have their reason. I know they have, when I've heard people say they don't have a plan. No, they do have a plan. We may not agree with their plan. We may not like their plan.
They just don't want us to know what it is.
Yeah.
We can't build anything because all of our Imagineers, after they got laid off, are all over building Epic Universal.
Yeah.
When they're done with Epic Universal, we can start building stuff again.
It's
just saying.
They could have, with their Blue Sky project, if they would have said we're building a 5th park somewhere down the road, people would have gone nuts.
Yeah.
I think people were waiting for that announcement too.
Well, I knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yes.
I didn't expect a lot from this expo, but I expected more. than what we got. Kurt, I'm going to save you for last because I know you're going to have a lot to say. Darlene, what's your take on what went down this weekend there?
I felt like everything went overseas. Nothing came to us. I know some stuff went to Disneyland. I know they announced the new ship name, which I'm thrilled about, and the stuff coming to the theaters and Disney Plus. But I don't feel like it was enough for Disney World. I don't know. I know they come to Disney World occasionally. I don't know if they're holding off and giving us stuff then. That's a very good possibility. But I don't really. I wasn't impressed with what happened.
Let me ask you guys this before we get to Kurt. If you were there at the expo this weekend, how do you think you would have felt?
Disappointed.
Yeah, I see Jess shaking her head yes.
Yep.
Kurt, what about you? He's also shaking his head yes.
I know better than to go.
Yeah, me too.
Because I knew it would be a disappointment.
I think disappointment is the absolute best word to describe it. Frustrating, yes, but disappointment, definitely. All right, Kurt, let's have it. Go into a rant.
All right. I think part of the reason, and Jess already kind of touched on this, they can't announce too much in over in Epcot because the walls are up for all the construction they're doing already. What are they going to do? Add more walls?
Right.
Where are they going to add them?
Yeah.
You know, there's no pathways now to walk. So if we can get this Moana attraction done and get some of those walls down, I'll be ecstatic. I still don't understand how, if Moana's going down on the right side, what's going on the left side that we got all the walls up still. But I digress. As far as the attractions, all those blue sky things they're talking about over in the Magic Kingdom, again, I want my railroad back. Just give me my railroad back for a little bit. Then you can decide which one you want to put in there. Some people have mentioned, well, they didn't go into a lot of detail with that because they haven't decided. They're going to wait for people to say, oh, I want Coco or I want Encanto or whichever. And then they'll decide which one they're going to put in. It's like they just tossed the name out there to see how well this would fly. I still feel kind of like, yes, they want to collapse. So I think the same thing happened with Mary Poppins. I don't think everyone got as excited about as many people got excited about his Mary Poppins attraction as they initially thought it would be. So they kind of went, yeah, we got to put a damper on that because COVID. So I just kind of felt that way. As far as the villains area that they mentioned, I looked, there's a huge area behind the Fantasyland area right now. You could easily twist that into a villains area.
Now, Kurt, I don't mean
that's all the area you need.
Kurt, I apologize for cutting you off. I don't mean to. I think they knew they were going to get a huge reaction when they mentioned a villains land because all the diehard Disney fans want something like that.
They've been waiting for it for years.
Right. And guess what? I think we're going to continue waiting for it for years. But anyway, go ahead, Kurt.
There is room in back behind It's a Small World, behind Cinderella Castle. Look at all that space there.
Yeah, Jess is holding
at all that
on her camera of all the room.
Yeah.
I was just looking at that this weekend while they were making the announcements. I'm going, okay, that could go there a lot better than this other stuff could go over behind Big Thunder Mountain.
Here's Big Thunder Mountain. There it is.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah. All around in that area.
Yeah.
But it's
right
now it's all talk. It's not, there's nothing set in stone. There's nothing on paper. Don't expect to see anything about that before, let's toss a year out there, 2028. That's basically 5 years away before we really start seeing them breaking ground on anything new.
Yeah, if that.
So,
honestly, I think that if they blended in, okay, now listen. Okay, so you got Tiana's Bayou going in. So I think that bringing in the villains that way, because there's a lot of villains in that, they talk about the villains. We could bring it in that area. with Splash Mountain.
No, they're not going to do that.
You don't think so?
There's a big backstage area there.
You know, if they would have come out at this expo and said nothing else about Disney World except, you know, we don't have a lot to talk about with this, but I know this is something that's going to get you excited. It's something you've wanted, something that's going to happen. And at the next expo, we'll have more details. But when we get finished with Epcot, the next big project is Magic Kingdom and a Villain's Land. The place would have gone nuts.
Right.
And they wouldn't have had to say another word.
Right. It's kind of an unfantasy land. Fantasyland is all your princesses and everything. That's why they're going to toss the villain somewhere behind there. That's where it's going to end up going. I don't think it'll be over in Frontierland. It doesn't fit. That I mean, just they're not dressed correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Walt didn't want that. So they won't be dressed correctly. So
yeah.
I felt this D23 was all about join Disney Plus, join Disney Plus, join Disney Plus. Most of everything I was hearing, join Disney Plus. Because look what's coming. Or go to see the movie, because yes, we all want to see the new Indiana Jones movie.
We're putting all our money into streaming and into the movies.
Streaming
That's where we want you to go.
Yep. We already have you guys that we've said it time and time again. They're already taking all of our money anyways at the theme parks. We don't have to start adding anything new to the theme parks other than, you know, hanging out that hot dog, giving the weenie going, this is what we're going to think about making. Come on now. Come on. Come with us. But it's until that revenue starts to go down a little bit of money coming in and the demand to go to the park starts to dwindle a little bit, I don't foresee them dumping tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of money into Walt Disney World. Disneyland is getting it because they still have an overinflux of annual pass holders and they're trying to draw people like us in the Midwest out to California.
Yep.
That's why they're getting it.
Yeah.
If the power would stay on.
I think, you know, and I keep going back to Epic Universe at Universal. I think when that gets close to opening, I think Disney will have a reaction to what's already going to be there at Universal, but they're going to be playing catch up. That's not how Disney does things, and it's like, God, I hope I'm wrong.
I can't disagree.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else want to add anything before we end this?
Don't jump off the ledge. Don't jump off the ledge.
Look, if you want to put everything in perspective with what happened over the weekend, you know, if you're a Disney Plus fan, if you're a Disney movie fan, it was a great weekend for you. If you're a Disney park fan, not so much, especially here in the U.S. But you know what? We'll see what happens at the next expo. And like I said, the way to make your voice heard, you have to show Disney, hey, you know, we've had enough. Don't go to the expo. Just say no. Now I sound like Nancy Reagan. Just say no.
Just say no.
All right. We will be back. I think we'll be back later in the week with another show. I'd like to be back later in the week with another show. Kurt, will you be able to make another show later in the week?
As long as I don't jump off the ledge, I should be okay.
Okay. And Darlene, how about you?
Depending on if my family decides that they want to get together, that are in town.
Again?
Well,
are they family or friends? Let's get to the bottom of this.
Jess knows that they're family.
Are they family or friends that Darlene speaks of?
27 years of.
All right, so they're friends. All right, so Darlene.
Friends, okay.
See, it's like, this is what we always say. Anybody
my brothers, cousins, sisters, mothers, brothers, sisters, mothers.
This is
ex-brother's side is coming into town.
No, if I would have had a sister, we both said we would be sisters, like I am with Michelle.
All right. She's trying to weasel her way out of this one.
Anyway, not weaseling.
Anyway, the joke here is that anybody who comes to Walt Disney World, Darlene will meet up with, whether she's met them whether she's never met them.
And
doesn't
she'll
matter.
call you family.
And she calls them
Yeah,
family.
Well,
you
as
could
a
have
matter of fact,
somebody-
I'll be there Friday in
You could-
Epcot. Last minute decision. I booked it today with my friends Karen and Dan.
You could friend
Someone offered to buy her a drink.
You could friend Darlene on Facebook tonight and say, hey, I want to meet up with you tomorrow at one of the parks. She'll be there. She'll
No,
blow
I'll
off
be
the
washing
show.
floors.
There's openings.
She'll blow
Hey, if
off
any-
the show just to be
If
there to
anybody
meet
wants to
someone she
wash my
doesn't know.
floors tomorrow and water my plants, come
You
on
gotta hope
over.
you don't meet Jack the Ripper online and then you meet up with him. Anyway,
Ah,
we're at it. We're out of here. We'll be back later in the week with at least me and Kurt will be back later in the week with another show. Maybe Lottie, maybe John. We'll see.
maybe. You never know.
Yeah. Well, John is on vacation someplace
John's on vacation.
now. Yeah. And Lottie's got a
She's swamped.
yeah, she's swamped with work, long hours, so we'll see. So until the next time we meet, and hopefully it'll be under better circumstances and a happier note, everybody stay safe. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
See you real soon.
Have a magical night and stay safe.